Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear people, blessings to all of you. Welcome. There is also a new moon, and the moon is called Safar. And Safar means literally the yellow one. So there's this word Safran also in it now, it's yellow. And it is known to be the month of difficulties. But in the Dervish tradition, difficulties is actually our passion, because we understand that it's through the difficulties that we really evolve. Now, we were talking the last time about how we can use our heart, and our heart has many, many dimensions. It is not just that we can use it to regulate our relationships or to bring our life in balance. It is also a portal to knowledge. And that might be a little a surprise, because we think that our mind is the portal, right? We have this idea that everything to us as knowledge comes through our mind. But you have to understand, of course, our mind and our heart has a kind of channel with each other. But as we tried to explain in the last time, that when the mind dominates, when the mind is the identification, then it somehow oppresses the heart, and the heart cannot really serve its purpose. This is this kind of that upside down thing, and when we bring the positions, the relationship, when we can heal this relationship, this axis from the mind to the heart, from the heart to the mind, that we understand the heart is the director, and the heart is what gives really everything in our life. That opens also a new kind of knowledge. So in the mind, if you go to the mind has no requirements to receive knowledge, right? It seems that you can be the worst guy and still you can receive knowledge. You can receive informations, yes. But as we said last time also, there is a big difference between information and knowledge. Information doesn't require any condition. You can be a good person, you can be a very bad one, you can be psychotic, you can be whatever you can be. You can retrieve information. And this is how our society is made now. And not all the information benefits us, right? But with knowledge, there is a kind of protection. Because knowledge gives you a depth and gives you also the connections, how everything is really connected. And this is not possible through the information in that depth. And the requirement to receive what they call in tradition secret knowledge is a heart maturity. That means you understand that your heart needs to be pure. It needs to be somehow free from this poison that the mind can send to it. From the poison of backbiting, for example, from the poison of judging others, and to be totally sure about this judgment, from the poison to be sure actually about our own mind. That is the first poison, that's the deepest poison actually. So when we see that our heart is the power station, it's the center of life, it's the center of love, it's the center of knowledge. So when you make this practicing, that you really try to act from your heart, and that means you act first of all, under the two names, and this is Rahman and Rahim. Because we said that the heart is the throne of God, so we imitate its position, we imitate the position of the divine, and he wants us to learn that. Yeah. He wants us to imitate not a person, he wants to imitate himself, the great spirit, the source. The source wants us to imitate the source, yeah, or to just look to the source, you know, and to see that's the only reality. So the source has defined this creation under these two names, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Rahman is mercy. It's merciful. Yeah, and it has no condition. The mercy has no condition. It's merciful to everybody. Yeah. And the other one, Rahim, is understanding, is compassion. It is when love comes together with knowledge. That is Rahim. Yeah. So we can understand everyone if we combine those two, that we give love and we give also our understanding, our mental understanding. Then we are in Rahim. And then there is nothing that we cannot understand. If we just go with the mental one, we can not understand a lot of things actually with others, because it doesn't open to us. There is this judgment, and we say, how can that be ever right, or how that can be ever a good person, or how can this person ever find forgiveness, or whatever. No? But Rahim can see those things, and not only can see these things, another faculty with knowledge is time. You see, to understand situations, you need time, right? If we want to see and we want to understand, for example, conflicts that happen between nations, then we shouldn't just look to the now, but we have to look really a bit longer into the past and see what happened in history, because history has its effects on us, right? So, for example, if Germany would come to Israel and says, okay, let's start from zero, yeah? We have good relationship, we want to this and that, and we forget the past, and the Israelis will say, no, we cannot. We cannot forget that past. This past is too short to be forgotten. Maybe in 1,000 years, maybe in 2,000 years, we don't know. But for now, it's too hot still, right? So the same thing is with our heart. The knowledge we will have has to do very much with time also. You see things in time, and you understand your own life only if you see the whole time that you have been living as a soul, as a being, right? So that's why it is so important to see what was before you came to earth, and more you develop, you will also see what comes after, because time has this very strange reality that it is not linear, it is just present. Yeah. But there is this wing, like our body, there is this arm that reaches to past, and there is this other arm that reaches to the future, right? But it's connected to this torso, to this body that can be only here, you know. So knowledge has a lot to do with time, yeah. And of course, as we know through Einstein, also a lot with space. So if you see, for example, you have seen yourself living in another space, in another planet, with another people, with another time, with another habits, with all this, and then you come here, that of course had a great effect on you. Or you have been, for example, it happens quite often, you have been living in a family in different positions, yeah. So let's say now you're the son of your mother, but you could have been also the husband of your mother one time, or your father was your brother, and so on and so on. These things, they happen, and of course they're very mind-breaking. Now, if that knowledge comes to you, that will change a lot of things, isn't it? But it cannot come to you unless you are ready to digest some things like this. And for example, this habit of judging others makes us to be prevented to have the possibility that we can digest greater knowledge. Yeah. That is why, it's another reason why we have to purify our mind, yeah, the identifications, the attachments, and so on, and to give really the heart the authority. And the authority of the heart is first written under Rahman and Rahim. It is always merciful, and it is always compassionate. Yeah. And this is the challenge, you see, because all these situations that we are going through at the moment, you know, with all the war zones that exist on this planet at the moment and have existed almost since ever, if we want to really stop that, yeah, we have to go through this transformation. Yeah. And that will be not a short one, you know, because seeing the economical reality is that the weapon industry is the biggest economy, the biggest economic part on our planet. Yeah. So we need war, inevitable. We need these conflicts because they are only pleased if we use those weapons. They cannot be stored and stored and stored and stored. They have to be used, right? So as long as we are in this configuration that we say on one hand we want to have peace, and on the other hand we want to have to keep also this economical branch the strongest, there's something cannot work out here, right? Yeah, it is that simple. So that only can happen, this realization can only happen if you work out on yourself, if you see these things, and then if everyone sees that very clear, that will take and that will make the transformation. Yeah, there is no other way. So it is really this hard revolution, yeah, that has to come, and before the revolution comes the evolution, isn't it? Yeah. So we need to evolve ourselves on this point. We need to take down our own war industry in ourselves and to bring this Rahman and Rahim as a principle in our life. Yeah. And that is the challenge. And we shall see if we manage it or not. But we have to give it time. It cannot come from today to tomorrow. Yeah. But the more people they see that, and the more people they see that clearly and they act on it, then there is this possibility that it can take place. So I hope it is clear what we want to point out here. And thank you very much for your time. And have a good time. See you again soon. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.